Hello, I am Dr. Georgiana Stanciu, curator at the Royal Canadian Regiment Museum at Wolseley Barracks in London, Ontario. For this Saturday morning at the museum, we prepared a short video featuring Dawn of Majuba by Richard Caton Woodville. This painting is on loan from the collection of the City of Toronto, and it depicts an important battle for Canadian military history, the Battle of Paardeberg in February 1900. Just follow me and you'll find out more.
English illustrator and painter, Woodville is best known as a war artist. He studied at the Fine Arts Academies in Düsseldorf and Paris with Wilhelm Camphausen and Jean-Léon Gérôme, both representing the Academism in Europe in the last half of the 19th century. In these studios, Woodville acquired exceptional drawing skills, which eventually set him apart as a proficient illustrator, a true visual reporter of contemporary events, mostly military engagements. He worked for the Illustrated London News between 1877 and 1918, where, according to Tom Gretton, he produced 230 new fighting scenes and 320 images of other aspects of military life. Woodville gained some notoriety once his works were shown at the Royal Academy, then at Burlington House. Visibly marked by the academic art education, Woodville's paintings are less vibrant than his drawings, somewhat in lack of the rapid pencil or brush strokes, spontaneous and well-articulated. His production is impressive, and as was noted by other authors, a monographic study of the body of his work is long due.
Now, what about the battle? The Battle of Paardeberg was the first significant British victory in the Second South African War, fought between troops of the British Army as the imperial aggressor and the Boers, who were defending their Free Orange state and the Transvaal. The British called on colonial armies to help, and reluctantly Canada raised a 1,000-man force known as the 1st Contingent South Africa.
With guerrilla war tactics, the Boers had successfully repulsed the British attacks since October 1899. A new British offensive was planned in order to enter the capital city of the Orange Free State, Bloemfontein, and that offensive launched in the early days of February 1900. The 19th Infantry Brigade 9 Division, including the Canadian contingent, was marching northeast towards the River Mother. The march ended near Paardeberg Drift, where, under the command of General Peter Arnoldus Cronje, the Boers were trapped on both sides of the river, yet holding strong defensive positions. With the Seaforth Highlanders Ross-shire buffs, the Duke of Albany's, on their left flank, the Canadians came close to the Boers, who ceased fire. Lord Roberts accepted the Boers' surrender, and Royal Canadians received credit for their contribution. The resounding victory made waves and could not go unnoticed in the circles of war art illustrators who captured various episodes of the battle at Paardeberg Drift. Some of these artists were there, such as Stanley Paget, but others, such as Woodville, chose to use their imagination when immortalizing the glorious moment on canvas. The title of the painting we set to present here is Dawn of Majuba, which may mislead to believe that the image refers to another famous battle during the Boer War, the battle at Majuba Hill, 27 February 1881. This fight concluded with the Boers' victory, which also brought their independence. It was a humiliating defeat for the British, who also lost a general in battle. But the fighting at Majuba and Paardeberg happened on 27 February, 19 years distance of each other. The defeat at Majuba Hill in 1881 had clearly left a mark on the pride of British Army, and Woodville knew this firsthand because he was there to sketch for his employer, the London Illustrated News. There is no indication that Dawn of Majuba was a commission to Woodville. We only know that the artist offered the artwork to the Canadian National Exhibition in 1901. Held in Toronto, when the exhibition closed, the painting was passed to the City of Toronto, which continues to own it. It was on loan to the Royal Canadian Military Institute until 2011, and since 2012 it is on loan to the Royal Canadian Regiment Museum in London, Ontario. Very interesting to note, in 1914, in his memoirs, Woodville himself mentioned the Dawn of Majuba as one of his paintings that has gone abroad, now hanging in the museum in Toronto, he said. More research is needed to elucidate the exact travels of the Dawn of Majuba, but for now we will concentrate on the image. It is a large format painting measuring 1 meter 96 centimeters high over 1 meter 29 centimeters wide, signed and dated in the lower right corner with brown paint. Fruit of imagination, with the victorious troops on the wrong shore of the river bank, this painting is a complex composition in which the artist includes 3 different sequences: the surrender, the triumph, and the mourning. Woodville depicted the Boers initiating the surrender far in the background, on the other side of the river. Instant reaction is propagated in the British camp, with Canadian soldiers shouting in triumph, almost violent arm gestures, and very loud bugles, while silent sorrow is prominent in the lower register of the composition, where lie the dead. Before painting Dawn of Majuba, Woodville depicted the surrender of the Boers at Paardeberg in an illustration for the 2nd volume of With the Flag to Pretoria, a popular account of the South African War by H.W. Wilson, published in 1900. In this image, Woodville concentrated on Cronje in conversation with Lord Roberts. Yet, on a closer look, the British wounded Tommy type, with or without a moustache, with or without bandaged forehead, ready to charge with his Lee Enfield or just resting his rifle, was actually very popular in Britain at the turn of the 19th and 20th centuries. This popularity was due to Rudyard Kipling, author of a bestseller poem, The Absent-Minded Beggar, but also to Caton Woodville. Kipling wrote the poem within days from the outbreak of the South African War in October 1899 and sent it to the popular Daily Mail. Woodville created the image of the gentleman in khaki that the poem mentions, a wounded soldier carrying his rifle. Shortly thereafter, this image became the face of a successful fundraising campaign to the benefit of the soldiers and their families. Songs and piano music were commissioned, all sorts of souvenirs printed with both Kipling's written verse and Woodville's British Tommy. All of it extremely popular beyond Britain to the far ends of the empire. So popular and so widely spread that, understandably, it echoed as far as the Royal Canadian Regiment Silver Memorial for the South African War. The Royal Canadian Regiment has special regard for Woodville's Dawn of Majuba because it illustrates their baptism of fire. Not surprisingly, the painting holds a central place in the museum, right at the beginning of the gallery.
Thank you for watching, and if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, more material is released every week.